There is footage going viral right now of Victor Wembanyama straight up ignoring Deni Avdija after the Spurs eliminated the Blazers last night. And when you see it, it all starts to make sense, because this ain't just some random playoff beef that popped up out of nowhere. This goes all the way back to All-Star Weekend. It escalated through 5 of the most physical games we've seen in these playoffs, and it ended with one of the coldest post-game snubs you'll ever see from a 22-year-old. Stick with me, because by the end of this video, you're gonna understand exactly why these two don't rock with each other. And honestly, you might not even blame Wemby. Before we even get into the beef, you gotta understand who these two guys are and why this rivalry even makes sense. Victor Wembanyama is the most hyped prospect the NBA has seen since LeBron James. Born in France, this dude is 7 feet 3 inches with an 8-foot wingspan and moves like a guard. Not just a big man, an anomaly, an alien as Kevin Durant called him. In just his second NBA season, Wemby is averaging 25 points, 11.5 rebounds, and a league-leading 3.1 blocks per game. The Spurs finished 62-20 this year, second best record in the entire NBA. This dude is already being talked about as a future MVP, and these playoffs were supposed to be his coronation moment. Then on the other side, you got Deni Avdija. Born in Israel, came into the league as the 9th overall pick back in 2020. For a while, people were sleeping on him, but this season with the Portland Trail Blazers, Deni went off. He averaged over 23 points a game, made the All-Star team, and carried that Blazers squad almost single-handedly into the postseason. Dude dropped 41 points, 12 assists, and 7 rebounds in the play-in game against the Suns, one of the most complete performances of the entire season. So when Portland drew San Antonio in the first round, the matchup between these two young stars was the storyline everybody wanted to see. But what most people didn't realize was the tension had already started before tip-off of Game 1. Let's go back to February, NBA All-Star Weekend in Los Angeles. Both Wemby and Avdija are there repping their teams, doing media. At some point, a reporter asks Wembanyama how Avdija is viewed around the league, especially given the huge jump he'd taken this season. And Wemby's response, cold as ice. I mean, he takes a lot of free throws. That's it. That was his whole answer. No credit, no respect, just a dismissive little jab that basically implied Avdija's numbers are padded by getting to the charity stripe. Now, in fairness, Wemby wasn't entirely wrong. Deni does get to the line a lot, but the way he said it, that was calculated. That wasn't a compliment with a caveat. That was a diss dressed up in a calm voice. Word got back to Deni. Of course it did. Before Game 1, an Israeli reporter asked Avdija directly about Wemby's comments, and Deni tried to play it cool. He said, "I don't know. I didn't really pay attention, to be honest with you." But his face told a completely different story. His jaw tightened, his eyes shifted. That was a man who had definitely heard exactly what was said and had been sitting on it for months. He followed up with, "I think I'm much more than a player that lives at the free throw line." But you know, people will always say things like that. Translation? The disrespect was noted, and Deni was about to make Wemby eat those words on the court. Game 1 tips off in San Antonio, and Avdija came out swinging. He dropped 30 points on 12 of 21 shooting in his playoff debut, not even looking like a guy playing his first postseason game. The Blazers lost, but Deni made his statement. Then Game 2 happened, and it changed everything. Wemby goes down in the second quarter after landing awkwardly and hitting his face. Concussion protocol, he's out. And Portland, without their boogeyman protecting the rim, goes into San Antonio and wins 106-103 to even the series. But then the Spurs went into Portland for Game 3, still without Wembanyama, and somehow still won. Dylan Harper went off for 27 points, and the Spurs erased a 15-point third-quarter deficit. And Wemby, he sat courtside in a colorful shirt jack cheering his teammates on and talking. Dude is on the bench, not even suited up, and he yelled at the Blazers bench, "Y'all would have been down 4-0. Bro was trash talking from the sideline in street clothes. And you know Deni heard every word of that. Wemby comes back for Game 4 and goes absolutely nuclear. 27 points, 12 rebounds, 7 blocked shots. The Spurs win and take a 3-1 series lead. And this is where everything goes from competitive to personal. Late in the fourth quarter, with the game already decided, Stephon Castle, Wemby's rookie teammate, dunks on a play involving Avdija and then shoves the ball directly into Deni's chest. Just rams it right into him after the dunk. Disrespectful, unnecessary, the kind of thing that crosses the line even in a physical playoff series. Deni did not let that slide. Courtside cameras caught the whole thing. The shoving, the words exchanged, Avdija's coach Tiago Splitter physically pulling him away from Castle. Audio from the clip caught Deni Deni barking, "Come over here." After the game, Avdija said, "I don't play those games. That's not who I am. You can be tough, you can be physical, but there's a level of disrespect I'm not going to accept."
I think he's a good player. I have a lot of respect for him, but the thing at the end, all this shoving the ball into my chest is unnecessary. I don't play those games. It's not who I am. You can be tough, you can be, physical, but there's a level of disrespect that I'm not gonna accept.
And on top of all this, earlier in the series, Avdija had collided with De'Aaron Fox's elbow and came away with a chipped front tooth. The foul was originally called on Fox, and then the Spurs got it overturned into an offensive foul on Deni. So he literally left the court with a broken tooth and somehow ended up with the call going against him. Game 5. Elimination game for Portland. The Spurs come out and go on a 17-4 run to start the game. By halftime, it's 65-45. Portland made a run in the fourth and cut it to 9. Deni was trying to will his team back into it, and then came the moment that broke the internet. Avdija gets a floater up late in the fourth quarter, and out of nowhere, Wembanyama materializes from behind the play and swats it so hard the ball flies all the way into the stands. The crowd loses its mind, and the camera cuts to Wemby's own father courtside. And even his dad looked like he felt bad for Avdija. That's how brutal the block was. Wemby finished with 17 points, 14 rebounds, and 6 blocks. Spurs win 114-95. Series over. And now here's the moment that brought you to this video. After the buzzer sounds, both teams meet at center court for the post-game handshake line. Most of the time, even after the most heated series, guys find a way to dap each other up and keep it moving. Not Wemby. Footage circulating on social media shows Wembanyama moving through the line, shaking hands, exchanging words with multiple Blazers players. And when he gets to Deni Avdija, he keeps it moving, barely acknowledges him. No extended dap, no words, nothing that resembled genuine respect, just ice. Meanwhile, Avdija was seen hugging other Spurs players after the game. Devin Vassell, Julian Champagnie, Dylan Harper, and even squashed his beef with Castle in that moment. But with Wemby, that energy was not returned. The guy who started all of this with a dismissive comment about free throws back in February, the guy who talked trash from the bench in street clothes in Game 3, the guy whose teammate physically disrespected Avdija in Game 4. Wemby had no warmth to offer when it was all said and done. When you add it all up, the all-star jab, the bench trash talk, the physical series, the emphatic block, and now the snub, a pattern starts to emerge. Victor Wembanyama ain't just playing basketball against Deni Avdija. Dude does not rate him, and he's been making sure Deni knows it since February. But here's the wild part. Deni Avdija walked away from this series with his head high. He averaged over 23 points a game across 5 playoff games, competed hard every single night, and never backed down from anybody. And after Game 5, he said, "I don't know if it was a lesson, but more an experience. I had a lot of fun. We left it all on the court." That's a guy who knows who he is. And if these two meet again next season, this rivalry is only getting deeper. Drop a comment below. Was Wemby out of line, or is this just how killers move? Like and subscribe. I'll catch you in the next one.